Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Border Battle Show. I'm your host, Eli Merrick, and I have been reluctant to crown Tom Brady the GOAT. Many already have, but after reaching his 10th Super Bowl over a victory over the Packers, I think it might be time for me to admit it. He's pretty good, but he's also the luckiest of all time, I would say. You got to look back at history, the Falcons' incompetence, rules changes, some bad reffing, and you can't forget the interception by Seattle. And now he becomes the first team ever to get to host a Super Bowl. Come on. That's so lucky. He moves to Tampa. They're playing the Super Bowl in Tampa. What in the world? Tim, what is the world coming to? I'm done.
Rigged. Oh,
It
wait, no,
is
sorry.
rigged. Stop the count. It's rigged. It's rigged.
It was weirdly painful for me, like hearing that. Just like it's the first time a team will play in their home stadium for the Super Bowl. Because do you remember how many times that was brought up? The Vikings 13-3 year.
Yeah.
They lost. Like it just kept on getting brought up. So
It could have happened.
As soon as
They
I heard
could
that,
have
I
been
was
the
like,
first. They could have been the GOAT, not Tom Brady. Think about that.
as a team, the Vikings
Think
would have
about
been
that.
the GOAT team.
We would have crowned him immediately, making history.
Yep.
Yeah.
don't even-
Oh my goodness. So we got a couple games to talk about, obviously. One of which I don't want to talk about. So let's hit that one second, and we'll talk about Bills Chiefs first. You thought Bills were gonna win. You've been on the Bills hype train all year. Ultimately, they came up just short. The Chiefs are the Chiefs. They have an unstoppable offense. They have a tight end that just straight up cannot be stopped. Travis Kelce is, I would say at this point, just an unstoppable force. And him combined with Tyreek Hill, the fastest wide receiver in the league, what are you going to do? Tyreek Hill had 172 yards. Travis Kelce 118 on 13 catches, 2 touchdowns as well. The Bills just couldn't keep up. What were your thoughts on the game, Tim?
The Bills are a team that are a machine, whereas the Chiefs are a team that are like just star power. And what I mean by that is the Bills need to be clicking, and when they're clicking, they're unbeatable. But they started to have, like, throughout the playoffs, you'd see certain aspects of the Bills start to fall apart, and it just once you started watching that game, like, it just felt like, oh, they're not gonna do this, like, not getting touchdowns or whatever early in the game, and then once the Chiefs started scoring, it just felt like the Bills were never gonna come back. So I mean, hey, you know what? For all the Vikings fans that followed me in following the Bills this year, it felt like following the Vikings. So there's that.
Yeah, it all worked out in the end, right? And just watching the game, it's so obvious that there's an aspect to the Kansas City Chiefs where they can just turn it on when they need to, and they know it. Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce know that when they want to, they can just get open for Mahomes. And I think so much of the talk of, the Chiefs kind of struggled down the stretch into the playoffs, and maybe they're not the force that we maybe thought they were at the start of the year. No, these Chiefs are the best team in the NFL. They've been the best team in the NFL. I've been consistent on that. They've been my Super Bowl pick. They're the team that deserves to be here. They're the cream of the crop, and they have the best player in the league on their team, Patrick Mahomes. Not the MVP this year, though, but you got to give it to the young man. Like, the Chiefs have something special put together, and we should really just enjoy this Chiefs team for what it is. This is a one-of-a-kind, spectacular dynasty, and I honestly just hope it keeps rolling. I love it.
Yeah. I think Andy Reid deserves a lot of credit. I think he's one of the most underrated coaches of all time just because he doesn't have very many rings. He only has 1 ring. But I think he's been able to prove that he can just pump out good teams.
Yeah, he's just always been a winner.
He can create a game plan like nobody else. Like, we've seen him in the playoffs. He knows how to approach a game. And those kind of game plan decisions that's where coaching matters. And I think that was on display in both games this week.
And with Mahomes' injury concerns that, they were legitimate concerns going into this game.
Yep.
It didn't look like it bothered him at all. He looked 100% out there. And, give him, a couple weeks before the Super Bowl, he'll be fine. And
Yeah.
yeah, Chiefs keep rolling. Your Buffalo Bills, Tim. I'm assuming you're gonna stay on the bandwagon. What do you think it looks like for them going forward?
The future is incredibly bright for them. This is the best the Bills have looked since the 90s, and the Patriot monster is gone. The Dolphins are a good team. The Jets are trying to do a quick rebuild, and so, I mean, you never know with the Patriots because Belichick's still there, but I think, like, by all accounts, the division's the Bills to win next year, and they're still going to be good. And as long as this wasn't a 1 year fluke for Josh Allen, they're going to be a good team for a lot of years.
Yeah, he just looks like he's consistently getting better, I think. So,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely, bright things to come for the Bills. Okay, well, the time has come. I have not wanted to talk about this game. It was a rough one. 31-26. Your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or some people call them the TB, the Tom Brady Buccaneers, beat the Green Bay Packers on the road. Um, what a letdown. I was talking to a friend. I called it the letdown of a century. Like, this was a Packers team that I felt like could be historically good, could be a team that would maybe go in there and surprise the Chiefs. Aaron Rodgers on an MVP season. Things were looking like they were coming together. The Packers were just clicking very consistently down the stretch. We went into the playoffs. We got that number 1 seed, home field advantage for the MVP, Aaron Rodgers. But alas, even in a game where the Packers get more yards than the Buccaneers, get more time of possession than the Buccaneers, and win the turnover battle, we still lose the game. Tom Brady, luckiest of all time, I'm telling you. He's great.
Yeah,
But man, is he lucky, and man, are the Packers just kind of incompetent in some kind of obvious ways, which sucks.
it's weird because the Buccaneers as a team elude me. Like, I don't know what to think of them. I mean, I picked them to win, but I picked them to win because I'm just like, oh, Tom Brady. Like, it's gonna be some weird. Like, Tom Brady will win. It's the odds-on bet there. But I have the stats for the game up, and if you look at all of them, like, if you didn't have the score up there, you would assume the Packers won.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, and you could just tell things were off from the very beginning. This first half, when I was predicting this game last week, I said Packers win. I was pretty confident about it. I do think the Packers, on paper, are the better team, I feel like, and I do still think that. But, man, just right from the beginning, you could tell things were off. Pettin's defense just got ripped apart from the opening drive. What was the stat? Like, the first 5 third downs? They were, like, pretty long ones, too. There was, like, a 3rd and 15, 3rd and 14, a 3rd and 10. Tom Brady completed all of them.
Yep.
They got every first down they wanted. And they just drove down the field. They scored a lot of points early in the game, went up, did what I thought the Packers were going to do early on in the game, got the lead, and just held on to it. And even though, like, Tom Brady, he threw 3 picks in a row, in 3, possessions in a row in the second half, and the Packers got like 6 points off of it. There were issues all around. I thought the defense did horrible in the first half, especially. Pettin's play calling was really bad. I feel like to beat Brady, you need to get pressure on him. We got some pressure on him. When we got it on him, it worked. He threw picks. He struggled in some, places in the game. But when you didn't get pressure on him, he would just, find the open guy, complete the pass. It's Tom Brady. He does what he does. And then down the stretch, the main calls that are getting examined are the ones that happened late in the game. And those are actually going against LaFleur, who is still the coach. Pettin's out. That's been announced now. He'd reached the end of his contract. We don't want him anymore. He probably should have been fired last year, in my opinion. But LaFleur kicks the field goal at the end, and I feel like that was the biggest talker at the end of the day. Tim, do you mind talking through the decision-making there and, like, your thoughts on that?
I remember the moment that it happened. So Rodgers gets down on that third down, so then it's 4th and goal, and then like it cuts over to I think it's LaFleur or something, and I was like, oh, okay, they're gonna do another 4th down play, whatever. Then it cuts back, and you see Mason Crosby, and in that moment, I'm like, what is going on? Because the way I see it, and the way it kind of breaks down, the Packers are down by 8, and there's like 2.5 minutes left, I think, in the game.
Yeah, there was
Somewhere
just
around there.
a little over 2 minutes, and Packers had all 3 timeouts. So you're looking at your 3 timeouts plus the 2-minute warning. So you got 4 stoppages of the clock, and
Right.
you're down by 8. And it was was it 4th and 8?
Something
Well,
like that.
goal
Yeah,
to go, goal to go.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I believe 8 yards.
Yeah.
And we
So-
kicked the field goal.
So here's the thing. Either way, you're going to give Brady back the ball with a chunk of time left at least. Either way, you're not going to be in the lead, right? But if you tie the game here, I assume you're getting the 2-point, which is a big assumption. But if you
Yeah.
tie the game here, then Brady has to at least try to score. And if Brady trying to score is going to be, I think from a defensive perspective, easier to stop than Brady just trying to chew clock, right? Like that's my thought process. So then now you take the field goal and Brady just has to chew clock. He just has to get like 2 first downs and boom, bada bing, bada boo. Clock runs out. We saw what happened. Buccaneers.
Yep.
win. So that's
Yeah.
why I thought beyond on top of all that, you have Aaron Rodgers in the red zone. Like, do you not trust him to do something here? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know
Is-
if this was just one of those situations where like analytics strike again, and it's just it doesn't make sense logically, in the way that the casual sports fan would look at it. But man, that just seems like such a garbage call. In my opinion, the best thing to do in that situation would be to go for 2. Let's look at the best case scenario, which you talked about. You get the touchdown on the 4th and 8, and then you get the 2-point conversion. The game's tied up. 2 minutes left. You're basically at a reset. Tom Brady gets the ball. Maybe you stop him. Maybe you hold him to a field goal. Then Aaron Rodgers has some time. That's a situation I like the Packers in. I'll take the Packers in 2 minutes tie ball game against Tom Brady. I like that a lot better than giving it back to him, and all he has to do is get 1 first down and it's game over. Granted, that's best case scenario, okay? But let's look at it if that doesn't work. Let's say you get the touchdown, but you don't get the 2-point conversion. So now you're down by 2. Now you have the option, well, we can kick an onside, which gives our team a chance to maybe we just recover the onside. Now we just get a field goal, we win the game. We run the clock down, we win the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you just get the stop. You're in the same situation, but now all you need is a field goal. You still need to get the stop. You still need to stop them from getting a first down. It's the same situation, but now you're just down by 2.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't get the touchdown, but then still, it's almost same situation. The field goal almost does nothing for you there, I think. It's a decision that you make when you're playing the Lions in the regular season. Is the way I look at it.
Yeah, and here's the key. Here's
You're
the
betting
real key
so
here.
much that you're getting the stop.
Yep. On top of that, and maybe I have my math wrong here, but if you had got the touchdown, don't get the 2, that's within a field goal of you taking the lead, right? That
Yeah.
means Brady has to be a lot more careful in the way he runs the clock, because if for whatever reason it happens where there's like 9 seconds left and the Packers get the ball, theoretically, like normally you'd be like, oh, the game's over, whatever, there's 9 seconds, right? But if it's within field goal range, they can just pop a field goal and win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. To me, it seemed like there were a lot more options that the Packers would have had to win the game if you don't go for the field goal there. It just didn't make much sense to me.
And even optically, just like it feels like you're going down fighting, if you go for the touchdown.
Give the MVP of the league, Aaron Rodgers, a chance to win the game. Like, sure, the defense had been doing pretty well. It had stopped Brady. You got 3 interceptions in the second half. It was doing decent, but that's such a big risk to give the GOAT the ball back and dare him to not get a first down. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. And of course, like the penalty flag on that third down, getting Kevin King, who had a horrible game. I never want to see him in a Packers uniform ever again, honestly. Just a garbage game. Got wrecked by Scotty Miller going into the half, and then just getting burned all night long. Every time he'd get a tackle, he'd celebrate like he had just won the Super Bowl. Like the man looked like a clown out there. He really did. He was such trash in the game. It was a disaster. And he pulls the jersey that is a pass interference call there. So I don't think you can be like outraged that there was a flag thrown, because that was pass interference. However, I do get the outrage because I think I had seen at least 3 more blatant pass interference, plays that had not been called earlier in that half. Like, the refs were not calling those type of penalties in the game.
Yeah,
and it was pretty consistent. There were very few flags thrown in the whole game. So it was a bad way to have the game end. It really was, and it felt really bad.
Yeah. The other thing about this game, over and above it all, is it was the weirdest game ever for me, and I've said this several times to people now, because it was possibly the only time that I can think of where I was cheering for the Packers at any point in my life as a Vikings fan. So I just did not want to see Brady at another Super Bowl. It's just weird. So if that makes me a fake Vikings fan, I apologize, but I had to confess that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Brady is that guy that you can hate a lot, but you still kind of have to respect him because he just keeps winning. I'm trying to think if I have anything more I really want to say about this game. I was also disappointed. I guess going back to LaFleur, to me it felt like Mike McCarthy was coaching this game. We never went for it on a 4th down. We did not play aggressively. We really didn't in any phase of the game. It was very conservative.
Yeah.
I guess you could say maybe going for that field goal is technically an aggressive call because you're kind of playing for the win.
Yeah.
But I just think it's more foolhardy than anything. That's just dumb. That's dumb. And why did we go away from the running game? Like the running game, it wasn't working great, but it was going pretty good, especially considering the defense we were going up against. That's the number 1 run defense.
That may have been a decision that was analytically driven because the Buccaneers were the number 1 rushing defense.
But if it's working pretty good, then keep going to it. AJ Dillon was doing great. He came in when Aaron Jones had the fumble and the injury. Dillon looked great. We should have kept feeding him. 3 runs for 17 yards in the second half. That's not enough. Give him more runs. Come on. Like, we should have switched it up more. Getting 6 points off the 3 interceptions. You're going to lose that game. It was just disappointing. The Packers we're not set up to beat the Buccaneers. And that just goes to more the let's transition to talking like the Packers moving forward. The whole thing. The reason why the Packers lost this game is because look at what the Buccaneers did to get Brady and then the pieces they put around Brady. That defense. Everyone focuses on all of his offensive weapons, his wide receivers. He's got Godwin, Evans, Miller, Gronkowski. He's got all the weapons in the world. But on defense, they put together a really good team. Barrett's ridiculous. JPP's playing out of his mind. And they got a pretty good backfield. And they went out and they spent money to get weapons to put around their guy because they respect Brady. And, all the controversy around, is Aaron Rodgers going to be leaving the Packers? Aaron Rodgers, I think, should be staying with the Packers. I think he wants to stay with the Packers. But the Packers treat Aaron Rodgers differently than Aaron Rodgers peers that are at his level. When he looks around the league and sees the guys that are at his level, I think Aaron Rodgers can tell he gets treated differently than Patrick Mahomes, than Tom Brady, than Peyton Manning, than Drew Brees even get treated, right?
Oh, yeah. And I think part of it is the whole is Rodgers going to leave thing. I think part of it is it might just be Rodgers saying to the Packers front office, it's like, hey, why don't you do this for me? If you don't, I'm going to request a trade. I don't know that he actually wants to leave. I think he's just trying to use whatever leverage he can to try to make the better team.
Well, and I think part of it, and I think really what he was saying is that when it comes to his relationship with the Packers, he is not the one in any power, really. And I think that's what he was saying. He was like, the future's not in my hands. It's in the Packers' hands, you know? Ultimately, I sign a contract to them. I play football for the Packers. They put the pieces around me. They decide if they want to move on from me. They draft Jordan Love. You know, they can decide that they want to move on, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think he realizes that he's not in a position of power, and I think other quarterbacks around the league have more power. Like I think Brady got the guys he wanted, and I don't think if Aaron Rodgers points at a guy and's like I want him, I don't think the Packers go out and get him. Or maybe Aaron Rodgers just isn't a guy that makes those requests. Maybe he's not a guy that really is, always just focused with laser like, focus 24/7 at winning a Super Bowl like Tom Brady is. Like Brady's a freak. We all know this. The man is like the most competitive dude ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe they're just not quite the same, but when you look at the way the Packers have handled Aaron Rodgers, the rosters they've given him, it's not the same. They're not competing at the same level as other teams, like the Chiefs, like the Bucks, like the Patriots of old. It's not the same, and that's sad. And that's pretty much my thoughts on the season. That's a depressing way
I think
to wrap it up, but like that's my thoughts on it.
I think the one thing that makes it that much more painful is I feel like this is just a continued trend for as long as Rodgers has been their quarterback. Like it's not like this is the first year this has happened. It's just this is what year 10 of Rodgers really kind of or more.
Right. So he'll win the MVP
Rodgers
this year, and he'll now have 3 league MVPs, 1 Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who else has done that?
Brett Favre.
Yeah. Also a Packer. Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. The longer I live and the more I've like watched the NFL, because like I've been following the NFL closely now for, since I was been like 7, 8 years old, right? And I got really into it as a young kid, and the longer I watch, the more I realize certain organizations know how to play football. They know how to win.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It seems like the Packers must have some disadvantages because we consistently win, but we never get it done against those teams that actually win, that actually know what it's like to win Super Bowls. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean, and some of that's just intangibles to some degree. Like it's just like, like sitting here as a Minnesota fan, seeing teams go to the playoffs and lose. Like the way I've always thought of it is, a lot of it's to some degree just bad luck. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. Like you're in a like the Packers. There's no doubt in anyone's mind that they had a roster talented enough to win a Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
At a certain point, it's just other things. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, it's really hard to win a Super Bowl. There's a lot of players that have played in the NFL, and not many of them have won a Super Bowl. But when you look at when you're comparing these quarterbacks, which is the natural instinct to do, and you look and one player has 10 trips to the Super Bowl, and Aaron Rodgers has 1.
Yeah.
That's a little ridiculous. Tom Brady now has more playoff appearances from the NFC, or has the same amount as Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees.
Yep.
Quarterbacks that will go down as some of the best ever.
Yeah, and that's where it's like, is Tom Brady that good, or is he the kind of guy who goes into an organization now with the Buccaneers from the Patriots? He might have done this too, but just like, hey. This is what I want. This is what we're gonna do. This is like, does he just kind of command that? It's because that's the way Brady is. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's some of that, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's obviously quite a competitor, and I do think he definitely raises the level of the play of people around him. It's undeniable. Like you can just see it.
Yeah.
But
so the
go
question
ahead.
is, do you think there's any reason the Packers can't be in the same position next year? They can make it back to the NFC Championship game. Where do you see them next year?
I mean, we did it back-to-back years, and I don't think anyone thought we were going to do it this year. But we essentially had the same team we had last year. It's basically the same team. Not much has changed. The Packers roster tends not to change too quickly. And yeah, we'll be back. Aaron Rodgers is still Rodgers. Unless he suddenly loses the will to play football, he'll be back. He'll still be the best. And we're probably going to lose Aaron Jones. It's not looking like contract negotiations are working out with him. So no Jones. We'll probably lose a couple pieces on defense maybe. But new coaching coming in. I'm excited for a new defensive coordinator, new special teams coordinator. And we got a lot of young pieces that I think are really talented, especially if we can get a good defensive coordinator in. With Pettin, who I think is a joke. We were a top 10 defense this year in most categories.
Yeah.
We have pieces on defense. We have really good young players. Jair Alexander, possibly the best cornerback in the league right now. And we have good pass rushers. Let's turn this into something. I think the Packers are close. We just need to make the right moves. You know what I mean? We just need to do the things that, just put us over the top. I'm sick of being the best team in the NFC North year after year. Let's actually be the best team in the NFC.
The interesting thing about that is you have, without even doing anything, you could slide up the rankings. Because if Brady wins, there's a chance he retires. If Breeze is already probably going to retire, who could potentially be above the Packers, that list is shrinking just by nature of that, which is interesting.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to be surprised if the Packers come in and get the number 1 seed again next year. I would say expect it. They'll be back. They'll be good. But
we'll see.
I'm sick of the lack of postseason success. It's very disheartening. But anyways, let's move forward. Talk about the Super Bowl. Our picks competition is definitely in the books at this point. We both went 2-2. I nailed the AFC matchup. You nailed the NFC matchup.
Both our teams lost.
Yeah, both the teams we were rooting for lost. How about that? 44-25 on the year, Tim. Congratulations. That's very impressive. I went 39-30. You definitely getting the win. Yeah, you're the mastermind. Let's pick the Super Bowl.
Let's do it.
So we got a 3-point spread. Tom Brady hosting the Super Bowl is not favored. +3 Tampa Bay. What are you thinking, Tim?
I mean, I have to say it now, and I mean, I probably should have said it all year, but the Chiefs are the best team in the league, and there's no reason in my mind that I don't think that they're gonna win. And I think they'll I hate when the spread's 3. It's hard to pick because it's possible a game's closer than 3, but it's not likely. But when you have teams that are both good teams, but I'll say Chiefs win, Chiefs cover.
It's probably smart. Look at that, Tim. We're both admitting things. Tough truths.
Yes.
You're admitting that the Chiefs are the best and that the Bills, they're not quite there. And yeah, Packers and Tom Brady. Yes, Chiefs win, Chiefs cover. They're the best team in the NFL. Tom Brady, he's got magic, but not enough to beat Patty Mahomes. Patty Mahomes is the new Tom Brady. He's gonna win 6 or 7. Come on.
Although
the man's insane. The Chiefs are so good.
I will say, Tom Brady consistently plays better against good, the top tier quarterbacks. That's where he seems to get beat by just not no-name quarterbacks, but C tier quarterbacks. That's where he gets beat.
Your Nick Foles and your trend. Eli Manning.
Your Joe Flacco's, yeah.
Who's probably a Hall of Famer, by the way. Brady. Flacco might even be a Hall of Famer. Holy cow. That's
a weird case.
I don't know. I feel like if Manning's getting in, Flacco won a lot of games and a Super Bowl.
Yeah, he did. He made 2 Super Bowls, won 1, lost 1. Oh wait, no.
Did he just make the 1?
Maybe he just made the 1.
I'm trying to remember. That's a while ago. Anyways, we're getting off topic.
Yeah.
But Chiefs should be winning this one. The dynasty, I hopefully will continue. Maybe Tom Brady just if Tom Brady wins this, can we just name the NFL after him and then force him to retire? What's the highest honor we can give him, and then can we just force him out?
We could name the MVP award after him if it's not already named after somebody.
That's a good call. Yeah, we'll call it the Tom Brady Award, and you have to retire, please. Thank you.
I mean, I think he will retire personally
Maybe
if he wins. Like, I think he's done what he needed to do. He won his Super Bowls with the Patriots, and then he said, "You guys all think that's because of Belichick? I'm gonna go do it with the Buccaneers." And then
that would be kind of the perfect out. I almost feel like he just. I feel like Tom Brady though is such a competitor. If his body can still do it, he's just gonna keep doing it. I don't know if he wants the fairy tale ending. The man's a savage.
Yeah, maybe we'll see.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see for sure. Enjoy watching. Yeah, go ahead.
Should we do a quick fun one to celebrate the end of the show for this year? We'll do we'll do some prop bets for the Super Bowl. Ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So here's the easy one. Coin toss, heads or tails. It's literally the most pointless prop bet.
Always tails.
Okay. You say tails. Tails are favored, -101.
Wow. Look at
I'll
that.
take tails too, I guess. This one means nothing to me. The second one, this one actually means something. Tyreek Hill total receiving yards. The over/under is set at 93.5.
93.5. I'm gonna take the over on that.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, I almost want to take the even, but no. I'll take the over, I guess. Over's favored by -115. I feel like this could be a game where Kelsey does more, but
I think they both do a lot.
So, but yeah, over's favored for Tyreek. Team to record the first sack.
I'm gonna give that one to the Bucks.
Bucks are favored -115. And yeah, that checks out. I feel like the Chiefs. That's not their. I mean, they have a defense that does what it needs to, but that's not what they lead with. They're just an offensive juggernaut. So, Bucks that's a fair pick. Number 4. Will both teams have a lead in the first half?
Both teams have a lead in the first half. No, only Chiefs. If Bucks score first, they can have one, but I think Chiefs.
I'm gonna say
jump out
yes,
to a lead.
I think the Bucks will score first, and then I think the Chiefs will just kind of go from there. I think that's my pick. And then the final prop bet. This one I find really interesting because of watching some of the way Brady's played this year. Brady's first pass attempt will be complete or incomplete.
First pass attempt, I'm gonna go complete.
Yeah.
They'll have something drawn up that will work for the first one.
I'm gonna go incomplete. There's just these weird plays where I don't know what it I don't know if it's just bad communication and Brady's I'm gonna throw it in. But he'll just throw these passes and the guy's not there. And I don't know if that's Brady just being you should have been there and you weren't there, so I'm throwing it there anyway, or what happens. But sometimes he's just I'm just gonna throw it there.
Final one, Tim, and this should be easy for you based on your NFL expertise. What color will the Gatorade be?
Blue, and not a dark blue, like a lighter
light blue. Oh, so what is that called? Like the mountain, whatever. Gatorade, not a sponsor. I don't remember
what it's called.
I don't know their flavors that well, but yeah, the light blue. That is one of my favorites.
Light blue.
But I don't know what it's called. Okay, good one. Enjoy watching the Super Bowl, everyone. I know the teams that are in it are both horrible, and I'd never want to see them again. But it is what it is. Enjoy watching the best of the best play. This will probably go down in history as a historical Super Bowl. The passing of the torch, maybe,
Maybe. Yeah, it could be.
Enjoy it. This has been the Border Battle Show, closing out the season. Packers and Vikings are both done. Thanks for coming on, Tim, and helping me out this year.
Absolutely.
And thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good year. We'll be back. The teams will be back for sure. This isn't over. Aaron Rodgers needs a Super Bowl. And the Vikings they'll rebuild.
We don't even need a rebuild. Whatever, we're not going there. Just enjoy the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Enjoy watching the Super Bowl, everyone. Bye.